So, today I'm probably going to be sharing one of the most important topics when it comes to spirituality, especially in this day and age. Um, Basically, I'm kind of bringing together a lot of information from different spiritual influences. Um, this is kind of where astrology and spirituality do connect, which they connect in many ways. So you can use astrology in practical ways, and you can use the higher vibration of astrology in spiritual ways. So when it comes to the ages in astrology are kind of a term that a lot of people kind of escapes. It escapes a lot of people when they're studying astrology or they're looking into what the beliefs are. So for the last few hundred years, astrology's been used kind of mostly in a secret sense, because with the age of Pisces, Aquarius was the 12th house ruler of Pisces, meaning that anything to do with Aquarius energy was hidden. It was kind of meant to be viewed as secret, or in some senses a dark energy. So this is how the 12th house brings about its kind of energy. And when it comes to the ages, the reason why the ages are difficult and slowly being released as time goes on, every 2,300, 2,500 years, a new age is supposed to come about onto mankind, onto the earth. With the age of Pisces, and the age of Aquarius, these are very mystical, or we view them as two mystical spiritual signs. One of them is quite religious, that's Pisces. So the last 2,000, 2,500 years or so, we've been going through the age of Pisces, or, this was the age of Christianity, this was the age of religious doctrine, this was the age of, there's so many things that I'm going to get into. But, every age has a religion that comes along with it, that kind of rules over the zeitgeist, which is a German word for spirit of the times. The age of Aries came before the age of Pisces. The spiritual doctrine that was ruling over the world at this period of time was obviously Judaism. At this point, Judaism came about through the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is a very, very mystical kind of spirituality, and this is going to be an important revelation in the new age of Aquarius. The thing is that people don't realize how interconnected the zodiac wheel is. We can never ever forget that the past and the future always interconnect, and they always come back to one another. So the age of Pisces in the last 2,000 years, 2,500, it's hard to say the dates. Now, there's very spiritually aligned people that are enlightened, connected with these kind of energies, and they believe that they know the dates of when each age begins and when each age ends. And now history goes back, or the history that we know as of today, which I believe is going to completely change, based on enlightenment and based on individuality. The individual will enlighten and connect with their own spiritual energy, which is completely different based on your astrology chart. Astrology itself is said to be ruled by Aquarius. So this means that basically, astrology itself has only been, in the last hundreds of years, thousands of years, basic. And this is the sense of the age of Pisces ruling over the horoscope in magazines. I feel like magazines and kind of the superficial reading of magazines is very much the Pisces energy. Because Pisces is not like, it's sacrifice, of course, and it's definitely a huge kind of energy. We were learning from the age of Pisces from the energy of Christ and Jesus and sacrifice and basically bowing down to a higher power, which is not a bad thing. So what the practical point that I'm getting across here is that the age of Pisces, we can never forget the energies, the lessons, the importance of the age of Pisces, because the age of Pisces is a very spiritually connected energy. But the thing is, with the age of Aquarius, I've heard many people are scared for the new age of Aquarius to enter. I'm an Aquarius rising. I'm excited for this, but I can understand why people are scared, because it is definitely an age of responsibility. Because as the age of Aquarius enters in, the age of Capricorn then rules over the energetic 12th house, which means that the collective consciousness will be Capricorn. Believe me, being an Aquarius rising with Capricorn Sun in the 12th house, it's not a light energy, it's intense. This basically means the 1st and 12th house of the world energy that's moving in will be ruled over by Saturn. Saturn is, in my view, from heavy studying it, it is definitely about responsibility, definitely about a heavy burden, but at the same time, it's about protection. So we will be protected by Saturn. Saturn is an extremely protective, complex, beautiful maze, like a Pan's Labyrinth kind of energy. So that means God's energy will come to us through a sense of strength, through a sense of... There's a lot of Bible verses that we can learn from in this sense. In this next few thousand years or so, we're going to be building our lives upon a rock, upon sturdy, stable energy. Now, the age of Pisces was quite different, because Aquarius rules over the 12th house of Pisces, meaning that the collective unconscious was enlightened, but this was in the unconscious mind. So this means that people bowed down to religion, but revered and feared, which revere and fear come from the same root, Aquarius energy. So this kind of this knowing that was in the back of our heads will come to the forefront now. Every single thing that we've been feeling and the psychic energy will come to enlightenment. So that's the difference between Pisces, which is psychic, which is the tapping into the unconscious, which has kind of always been viewed as negative and scary. But in the age of Aquarius, this is going to all come to consciousness. This is intense. It just kind of means that, like, all those things that we've been feeling and sensing that we either viewed as psychic or negative, because anything in this unconscious mind is terrifying, right, to a lot of people. But moving on to bring this to enlightenment and bring this to consciousness is not good, but it's always happening. People are always waking up, every age. The age that came before the age of Pisces was the age of Aries. Now, Aries put Pisces in the unconscious, which was very powerful. Aries, being the ruler of the world's first house, the ascendant, is powerful because this is what we view, Aries is what we view automatically as the first sign. Now, this may have had a lot to do with the fact that we believe that astrology kind of came about and was birthed when the age of Aries was in effect. This age of Aries was ruled over, like I said, by Judaism, so the Kabbalah, which is a very mystical science, which we're going to have to look into again, because Aquarius and Aries energy are friends. Aries is friends with Aquarius, so back in the age of Aries, Aquarius ruled over the 11th house, which means that it was respected. It was hopes. So hopes and dreams were astrology. In this sense, we're going to actually take on the power of astrology each individually, because the power of Aquarius, which is individuality, is going to be in the forefront of our conscious mind, the first house in the age of Aquarius. But the thing is, we can never, ever, like I said, it's going to be our downfall if we ever forget the meaning of Christianity, the meaning of that spiritual energy needs to be kept in mind, because the teaching of Jesus is absolutely important and crucial to keeping the good and light of the Age of Aquarius. Now, the Age of Aquarius is also known as enlightenment. Enlightenment is something that is kind of a nasty word in traditional Christianity, traditional Catholicism. Like, and the reason why is because and Pisces does not like to own its own power. It's so much easier for a Pisces to bow down and sacrifice itself, which is the total symbolism of the cross. But the age of Aries brought on the symbol of the Star of David, which is as above, so below, which is extremely crucial to astrology. It is the meaning of astrology. So astrology has deep roots in the Kabbalah. Now, the Tree of Life, if you know any of these mystical symbols, there's a lot of mystical symbols that are going to be seen. But the thing is, with the Age of Aquarius, my vision is that there might be a lot of prophets. So the power of Aquarius is believing in your own individual power, your own individual truth. Truth is an Aquarius word. But the thing is that if you follow blindly any of these faiths that are going to pop up, because Christianity was the basically all-powerful ruler of the Age of Pisces. But a lot of different belief systems are going to pop up. People are going to want to be leaders, religious leaders. So you have to follow your own intuition in this coming age. You cannot just blindly follow, say, your neighbor because he seems so influenced by a specific kind of spirituality. You cannot blindly follow anymore. The Age of Aquarius, you're going to have to take individual responsibility for your own faith. And that is Capricorn in the 12th house. It basically means your unconscious spiritual mind is going to be ruled over by a harsh energy, which is Capricorn. Now, your conscious energy is going to be ruled over by Aquarius, which is hopes and dreams, and it is literally it's kind of like a heaven for humanity. So it's just your own personal heaven. You have to be an individual. You have to be authentic. If you're not authentic, you will suffer. Because Capricorn is also the sign of the initiate, the person that takes on completely his own responsibility, which responsibility comes power, but power comes responsibility. So this is something that's going to be definitely back and forth in the minds of people during the Age of Aquarius. We have to take into effect that we're going to have to integrate the last two ages that came in, the Age of Aries and the Age of Pisces, because the Age of Pisces is going to move into the second house. So people think, oh, we're moving on from the Age of Pisces, this means that we have to completely change and disregard everything. No, the reason why the past is because the past, we need to remember from the past. Always. Like, there's the worst thing you can do, especially during a Saturn-ruled age, or Uranus-ruled age, is to forget the past, because the foundation is essential for us to move on and actually hold on to goodness. Because Saturn is definitely not about goodness. It's not benevolent. We're going to have to wait again in another 4,000 more years to get into the age of Sagittarius. But some people believe that the age of Capricorn and the age of Aquarius, ruled over by Saturn, together are the golden age. So this is like over 4,000, 5,000 year period of enlightenment. But it also means taking on responsibility. If we want to get to the age of Sagittarius, which is bound to be... I think the age of Sagittarius is going to be amazing. It's just going to be religious and kind of good. But to get to that point, we have to fight our demons, which is Saturn ruled. And the Age of Pisces definitely did not. It separated our demons from our angels. So in this sense, everything was separated. Everything was kind of black and white. We were led by fear and emotions, because Pisces is a water sign, so you kind of had to basically what I think what was happening in the age of Pisces is that we were led by religion, or we were led by drugs and our own demons. And there was no intellect, because Pisces is not intellectual. It does not want to take on the responsibility of owning that power of intellect and knowing and enlightenment, which is intellect, knowledge, and everything like that. The age of Pisces put Gemini, the sign of intelligence, in the fourth house. So this was good because it kind of built up and kind of taught us about knowledge and language and intelligence, everything Gemini. But Gemini is moving into the fifth house now. So this means that we are going to use that as creative energy, which is kind of amazing. Before that, we had Cancer in the fifth house. So this was kind of creatively using that loving energy, which is definitely Jesus, his message this last 2,000 years, which we have to remember. But now that Cancer is moving into the sixth house, the universal house of work and service, we have to use that loving energy. We can't keep it for ourselves anymore. We can't be selfish with that. We have to serve people with Cancer, which literally means to give people cancer, which is not negative necessarily. It actually means giving people a sense of care and caring for humankind and using that as your work. So basically, the employees of the world, which is the sixth house, are going to be service-oriented, loving, kind mothers. So our workplaces are going to be more motherly, whereas before, in the age of Pisces, it was ruled by Leo. So I think this was kind of, in the spiritual sense, this was Leo being the workers. So this was kind of actually spreading God's word, okay? This was spreading the word of Jesus, of Christianity. Now we're going to be spreading the word of the moon, which is beautiful. Before we were spreading the word of the sun. Our service was the sun. Now we're spreading the word of the moon, which the moon is mysticism. It's enlightenment in a sense. So the moon actually is taking our own power and reflecting the sun's light, which is literally what we're going to be doing. We're each be going to bring out our star energy, which literally science is telling us that we are all stars, which is conflicting and kind of brings a lot of people into a sense of unease, because this is different than the last 2,000 so years. Because the last 2,000 years or so, people were bowing down to a higher power, but in the sense now we're going to have to look down to earth, as above so below, in the sense that above is beauty, and looking at things from high above, we can see objectively that things are beautiful and amazing. But we have to realize that that is within us as well, because God's light is as without, so within. So that's another thing that we're going to learn in the Age of Aquarius. I'm sure there's so many more things that I could say, but it's really hard to get all that point across and say everything that needs to be said in this new age. But I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of questions, and I can definitely answer them. I encourage you to subscribe, comment, ask me questions, then ask me what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know everything, which is good. Because I think in the sense that knowing or having this energy that is going to come to us is not going to be all positive unless you use it in a positive sense. So power comes responsibility, like I said. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Yeah, I hope you watch my other videos. If you have any questions, like I said, comment. Join my group on Facebook, Spiritual Astrology, and namaste, Godspeed, all that good vibes and whatever, sending out those good vibes. Have a good day. Bye.